Baltimore is again selling homes for $1. If anybody is interested in purchasing a home, this is not a public service announcement. This is a real thing. Baltimore is selling homes for $1 again. You can get you in the whole home over in Baltimore for $1. You just got to deal with the extra traffic because the Key Bridge is messed up now. And you got to deal with some crime, a little bit of homelessness, a little bit of drugs, all of that. But listen, you can gentrify your own neighborhoods for $1. Yeah, they did do this before. So if y'all ready to buy a home over in Baltimore, you can get it for $1. And I'm gonna break it down for me from a business perspective of why they're doing this, okay?
They tried it before. They're trying it again. The city approved a plan to address the vacant home crisis by selling some of them for $1.
But as WMER2 News' Elizabeth Worthington explains tonight, not everyone is on board with the program.
Buying a house for $1 sounds too good to be true. Well, that
Now, my dog Marlo used to put bodies inside of them vacants. Y'all ain't never seen a wire? Y'all ain't never seen a wire? My dog Marlo used to put them bodies up in them vacants. Yeah. Okay, come on, let's get to it.
that's because it is.
But the reality is you probably need more like 150 to 200,000 to complete a renovation of one of these structures.
That's why the city's housing department is requiring applicants to its newly approved fixed pricing program to provide proof they can spend at least $90,000 to renovate the home. The goal is to rehab some of the city's thousands of vacant homes. Affordable housing advocates Dr. Dwanda Farmer and Nika Namdi say the program doesn't serve the people who need it most. They're concerned about displacing longtime residents through gentrification. In the 70s, the city adopted a $1 home program, and a lot of these row homes on Fort Avenue and Federal Hill went for $1 back then.
That is the exact type of antidote that we don't want to see spreading into Harlem Park.
Ma'am, listen. From a person that came from Detroit, in which the city is now growing and thriving, credit rating is doing well, and I love my city. I personally moved back into downtown myself, in which we had a similar program, right? Except for there's other things that got to go along with it that allows for it to actually be successful. Beggars can't be choosy. Beggars cannot be choosy. How can people that have nothing sit here and talk about what shouldn't be done in the neighborhood or in the spot? I heard about Tank's houses, that they burned down the houses that he was rehabbing. You know, I was in a neighborhood one time. Actually, I was in Yaktown. Shout out to Pontiac. Shout out to Yaktown. I was in Pontiac one time, and I had bought some houses over in Pontiac. And this was back when my father was alive, and we was like, you know what? We going to do some great things in the community. And we bought the houses, and we was rehabbing them. And then I came up, and all of the materials was stripped out of it that we had put into it. I said, nope. Not putting another $1 up in this place. Not putting another $1 in the hood. We was all for renovating and gutting and changing and trying to impact the community and all of this stuff. This was when I was young and dumb. I was young and dumb. Yeah, I had my eyes was green. I was wet behind the ears. I was trying to figure out how I could help the community and pour into people and, you know, fix up the neighborhood and be an inspiration on the block. And they came in, and I came by. I said, hey, man, y'all seen anybody around here? It was like, nope, we ain't seen nothing. We ain't seen nothing. I said, yeah, you ain't seen nothing, huh? Nope, not at all, not one thing. So, all right, I got you. Just went ahead, just jumped back in the car, went on home. Let the streets have that place.
into Poppleton, into, Middle East, into Care. We want the people who have been the backbone of this city to actually be able to live freely and to live well in neighborhoods in a city that their labor and their intellectual property built.
I understand.
That looked crazy. Did y'all see that row? Did y'all see that B-roll footage?
Into Care. We want the people who have been the backbone of this city to actually be able to live freely and to live well in neighborhoods in a city that their labor.
I have done a lot of urban exploration in my day, and any of my early YouTube followers and subscribers on the Anton Daniels channel is aware of this. I have explored some of the most destroyed hoods and places and walked around and went into abandoned buildings and houses and churches and fell through the floor. And I've been in a lot of places. I've seen and climbed through some of the tallest buildings, abandoned hospitals, manufacturing facilities. I've flown drones through them. I've been in and all across the United States of America. I've been through it in Gary, Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee. I've been down some places in some other states I don't want to name right now. You know what I'm saying? I've been in stadiums. Before the Pontiac Silverdome got imploded and they built the Amazon facility over it, I was the last person to explore the Pontiac Silverdome. I've seen a lot of places. A lot of places. What I know is gentrification is good. Gentrification is beneficial for the community. I'm telling you this. These people need jobs. They need jobs. If you ain't got 100, 200 bands in order to go over there and redo a crib, and you can't just redo one, you got to redo all of them. You got to redo the whole neighborhood. You got to remove it. You got to create a tax base. You got to give an incentive for the police to go over there and police that crap and not be able to get the heck up out of there. If you ain't got no bag, if you ain't just industry, jobs, all of this stuff, all of these people keep talking about this. Oh, man, we don't want things to go. Oh, gentrification, displacing people. That's displacement. Do you see that? Do you see what displacement look like? Man, y'all ever been inside of a vacant and seen a body? You ever walk through a field and seen a body in that field and you start to smell something and you see a decomposed body? You ever been in a vacant and seen a body and you go ahead and throw that footage away and act like you ain't never even been there before, and then you just make an anonymous call so they can go and pick the body up? You ain't never seen no junk like that before. Let me tell you something. I got out of urban explorations for more reasons than one. It wasn't just the rebrand of the new YouTube channel. It was like, you know what? This is different. This one is different. You know what? I think God is trying to tell me something. And then not only do you go in, but then when you coming out, the people across the street is over there looking like this. And you trying to act like you ain't looking at them, but you looking at them and they looking at you, and you looking at them and they looking at you, and they trying to figure out who you are and why you came over there in the first. Man, get me up out of here, bro. You know what? This mission is done. It ain't enough money. It ain't enough views. It ain't enough YouTubing going on over here for me to continue to explore this area. This is the devil. This is the devil's work over here.
And their intellectual property built.
I understand that they have a goal of driving middle-income families into the city.
Nope.
But middle-income families don't want a dilapidated house off of a block even for $1 unless there's a real plan that's going to do whole block redevelopment.
I do you
Applicants
one better,
will
Keisha.
also be subject
not
to
only from explorer to suspect, but to victim. You know what I'm saying? Explorer to suspect to victim. My very last exploration. I tell you about
The
it in a
vetting
minute. Look at
process.
that.
The advocates we spoke to hope that's enough to weed out potential bad actors.
One of my main concerns is that this will become a payday, like an open door, open season for the same slumlords and the same speculators who have been keeping properties in poor condition and charging high rents in the city.
In an effort to prevent that, the first 90 days of the program have been set aside strictly for buyers who plan to use the home as their primary residence.
Nope.
The Department of Housing and Community Development says it's already received more than 800 inquiries. But there's only under 300 homes set aside for the program right now.
800 inquiries from everybody trying to get a home for $1. Man, get the heck out of here. 800 inquiries. Right. And how many of them got more than $30 to their name? Oh, man, I got a homeboy that could do the plumbing for you. Fam, we got to pull a permit for that. We don't pull permits over, and they said, okay, all right.
Was approved at the city's Board of Estimates meeting on Wednesday after Dr. Farmer and Namdi expressed their concerns. The housing commissioner and the mayor said the department plans to ensure there are guardrails in place to prevent displacement down the road. In a statement, a department spokesperson says, quote, "This is an important forward movement that will greatly assist in our ongoing efforts to successfully address vacant and abandoned properties in Baltimore City." They'll begin reviewing applications on April 1st. You can find a link to apply on WMAR2news.com. In Baltimore, Elizabeth Worthington, WMAR2 News.
Let me tell you something, man. Stay out of that. Stay out of that. Let me tell you something, bro. Look, this is the very last exploration that I've ever done in my entire life. And then it wasn't the last, but it was the last one that I actually recorded and that I put up, that I made available to the general public. I'm not going to say what my last ones was, but this was the very last one that I did. The floors and stuff, they're very, very fragile because there's no roof and all of the weather and the elements have gotten in here. You can fall through the floor easily, and ain't nobody going to find you if you incapacitated or knocked out or whatever. At their final service, when they closed that, once I fell through the flow, I'm talking about falling through the flow. I make the wrong step. Next thing you know, I'm falling through the flow. I said, you know what? Then I was brave. I decided to go do another exploration. That started going left. I said, I'm done with exploration. I'm done with exploring. I'm not going through no more flows. I'm not falling. I'm not doing nothing. I'm done. Time is up. Time is up. Once I fell through the flow, listen, I'm telling you that I've lived this life. I lived this life. When you take 2 steps forward and then you go 3 steps under, I'm telling you that I've lived this life. All right. So shout out to Baltimore for trying to sell homes for $1. Well, you got to have some balls.